Have you been playing with your child all day long and you really need to start doing something else like cooking the dinner, and you're just about to peel the potatoes, and then your little child comes and goes, "Mummy, please play with me." How can you possibly say no and break their little tiny lonely heart? Well, you can say no, and in this video I will share top tips on how you can encourage your child to play independently without you feeling guilty about it. Now, do stay until the end when I will share a special resource that will help keep your child occupied as you merrily peel those potatoes. Hello, and my name is Tamsin, and I run the website theonlychildclub.net, and I'm dedicated to supporting you and your gorgeous one-child family, helping you all to grow, flourish, and live life to the full. Before I continue, if you like this video, please don't forget to click the like button, but more importantly, please remember to click the subscribe button, so this will help me be able to create more helpful videos for you in the future. Now, the first thing that you need to do for your child, I'm going to talk mostly about if you've got a child who's a baby or a toddler, but I will talk about children who are a little bit older, because I know that when they're 5, 6, 7, 8, they may still look like, they may still demand that you play with them. So if you get it right when they're a toddler, hopefully they won't be asking you to play with them later on in life. But if your child is a bit older and they are asking you to help play with them when they're a bit older, then I've got some tips to help with that as well. So the first thing you have to do, especially if you've got a baby or a toddler, is to make sure that they have a safe space to play in. That means moving all pot plants that are likely to fall down, anything's breakable, locks, child safety locks on the kitchen cupboards and other cupboards, making sure that there's a stair gate there. I mean, don't overdo it with the safety aspects, because your child does need to learn a little bit. I think sometimes there's too much safetyism going on, so you don't have to lock absolutely everything up, every single drawer, everything like that, because you know what, if a child traps their finger in a drawer, then they're not going to do it again. So you do have to balance out how much safety you're going to put on there. The main thing is making sure any dangerous chemicals, that they're locked away, and any medication is definitely locked away. So one of the things I did for Sops when she was little, when she was a baby, is I just used a travel cot. And if you don't already have a travel cot, I do recommend it, because as I said, you can use it as a playpen, but you can also use it as it was designed for, as a travel cot, and you can then travel around and just put it up, and you can travel with your baby. So it's definitely a good investment to make, and I will put a link for the a travel cot in the description below, so you can have a look at that. But it was definitely worth doing, and then your child is safely contained in there, they can't get out, and you can get on with other things without worrying about your child harming themselves. Now, one of the things that you may want to do is put up a play kitchen in your own kitchen. So when you're cooking, your child can be on a little play kitchen unit, and then they can be pretending to cook as well, and they can be cooking for their toys while you're cooking for the family. It's, you know what, I'm going to share this story with you because I just think it's crazy. I remember reading in Ellen Alcott's book Little Men. It was one of the sequels to Little Women. Meg's daughter Daisy, she has an actual working oven. Apparently my grandmother also had one, so they was really small, but they worked. You can actually put hot coals in it and cook food on there. Oh my goodness, kids were made of tougher stuff back. But I think there was a toy, I can't remember what it was called, Bakelite, something like that. Do let me know in the description below if you know what I'm talking about. I'll see if I can find an image of it. It got taken off the shelves because, again, it could actually cook real food, apparently not very well. It didn't get hot enough, but hot enough. It didn't get hot enough to cook the food, but it did get hot enough to burn fingers. So it wasn't considered safe and taken off. And to think, our grandmothers and great-grandmothers had actual real ovens, toy ovens in their houses with coal, and I don't know, they must have had some sort of chimney, otherwise it would have got a bit smoky in the rooms, I imagine. Good thing is, play kitchens are a lot safer now, and your child can merrily be cooking on their little play kitchen whilst you're cooking the main dinner for the family. So everybody gets fed. Right, tip number 2 in helping your child learn how to play independently is limit the toys that you give them. Don't overwhelm them with way too many toys. Just 1 or 2 different toys in the playpen or in the play space which you have allocated for your child. And too often, toddlers can get bored really easily. They'll play with a toy for a few minutes and then put it away, go on something else. So maybe just 1 or 2 toys, but keep swapping. And then each toy will be designed to help your child build particular skills that they need to develop. So, for example, they may learn about spatial awareness by putting shapes in particular holes, or they may learn about gravity by having building blocks and then knocking them over and seeing how they fall. It's the best way to learn. I'll talk about screen time in a minute, but it is the best way to learn is actually allowing your child to use all of their senses in this real 3D world rather than the digital world to learn new skills and how science and nature operates. Now, for ideas for suitable toys for different age groups, I'm going to link a Christmas gift guide blog post from my website, theonlychildclub.net. I'm going to put that there, and I've got a whole load of ideas from all the different age groups that you might want to go into. So have a look at that. And I would like to draw your attention to the Lovevery products. These are subscription-based products for babies and toddlers. They send unique packs to your child every month to meet their development needs of your child. So then your child will receive a new toy and they'll be able to play as they go along. So all the toys are made from organic, sustainable material, and they've been designed by experts for your child's developing brain. So do have a look at that. Now, I don't have an affiliate with them at the moment, but I have put a request in for that. So currently there's not an affiliate, but there may be. So in the future, if you make a purchase, Sops and I may make a bit of a commission, but I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't think it was a really good idea for your child. So I'll just put that little disclaimer out there, as one needs to do. Right, so as I said, the next thing is we want to make sure you limit the screen time. This goes without saying really, because no child really learns from watching a 2D screen. In fact, it actually shortens their attention span, and there's certain children's programs, baby programs, that can cause their brains to be overstimulated. I'm not going to mention them, but personally, I wonder when I look at AI cartoons, they're so bright and they're so fast and they're so manic. I just do wonder what impact that is having on our children's brains. Even educational apps like on the tablet is not necessarily good to playing for your child when they're really, really young. As I said before, they want physical toys in which they can use all their senses to work on, whereas if you think about it, a tablet is just using maybe the sense of sight and hearing, that's about it. So the longer you delay your child from watching a screen, the better. But it is very difficult to do in this day and age. Generation Alpha is the next generation, for our kids. And to be honest with you, they're the first generation who are really going to be fully immersed in the digital age from birth. I mean, I remember when I was a child, you wanted to learn a fact, you go to the library, you have to look through all the millions of volumes from encyclopedias, take it out, boom, open it up, look for that particular fact. Now people can just Google it. It's really easy. It's very easy to get a lot of information for children. That might be a little bit overwhelming, but that's the truth of the matter. However, when a child's brain is starting to develop, they want to not be looking at screens, not having their attention span shortened. They need to be actually playing with physical toys in the real. Now, if you are concerned that your child is a little bit addicted to screen time, things like that, TikTok, especially those short videos, called Help. My child is a TikTok addict, and there's some tips and tricks there to help wean them off their addiction. Now, the next thing to help your child play independently is to show your child how to play, especially when they're very little. Spend some time with your child initially. You've got a new toy, maybe one of the Love Every toys. You've got a new toy, show them how it works. Fiddle around with all the little buttons and the things to pull out and the material. Show them how to play with that and how to expect. Then you can put a timer on and leave the child to then explore the toy on their own. Now, for older children, what you want to do is give them more open-ended toys where they can really develop their imagination. Something like maybe a box of Lego, or even better, a big empty box. So your child can make it into anything. And yes, I'm thinking of Calvin and Hobbes. I mean, did you ever read those cartoons, Calvin and Hobbes? He made his big box into all sorts of things. Spaceship, time-travelling machine, a transmogrifier, what was the other things? A replicator, all sorts of different things. So definitely it's the best thing to have. I used to get big cardboard boxes. My dad used to bring them back from his work, and we made all sorts of things. So it's a really good open-ended toy that your child can use for stimulating their imagination. What you can do with that is then you can set a timer for whether your child is just a toddler or whether they're, a bit of an older child, so they know when you're going to stop playing with them and when they're going to be given time to play independently. You can use an egg timer. You could maybe use a timer on your mobile phone, and it can go down with an orange bar, so your child can see that when the orange bar is complete or empty, then you're going to go back and play with your child, so they've got an idea of how much time they've got to play independently. I tend to use my Alexa smart speaker, to set the timer for all sorts of things, and it will just go off. And then what you can do with your child is you could say, maybe set the timer when you're playing with them, and then you're going to say, set it for 15 minutes, and you play with your child, and the child will, oh no, because the alarm went off, and he said, I know, silly old Alexa, she set the time. Well, look, I'll tell you what, I'll go off and do this thing, give you a couple of minutes, 2, 3, 4 minutes to play, and then I'll come back and you can set the timer like that. So throughout the day, you're setting the Alexa timer. One of the few things I use the Alexa for, actually, is a timer. And remember to praise your child when they have played well independently and they haven't kept coming to bother you. Mum, I'm bored, Mum, I want a snack, or whatever. You can just, if they had done really well playing independently, you can say, hey, well done, you played really well on your own there. What did you learn? So that they know that they're on the right track when they are playing independently, and you've praised them specifically for doing that, so they have an understanding. You're not just saying, well done. They're like, well done for what? Or you're a star. Why? You have to actually explain when you're praising a child what you're praising them for, what they've done. That deserves the praise, if that makes sense. The other thing you might want to do is actually have something of a schedule. So maybe put a poster up in your house of a daily schedule, and you can put images of a clock on it so your child can see what time they've got for playtime. And it's a good way to teach them how to learn to play the time, so they can see on the main clock if the big hand is on, the 12, and the little hand is on the 1, that might be time for lunch or something like that, and so they can see the pictures and correlate it. I have got a infograph showing a sort of routine that you might want to try it. That is on the blog post, How to Help Your Child Play Independently, so I'll link that in the description below to help you out on that one. This can be really helpful for your child if they are autistic, because autistic children like to have their schedules and work with that. The only issue with that is if you go off schedule a bit, then it can cause a bit of a meltdown and problems. So just be aware of that. But it can actually be very helpful for children who are autistic. They like their schedules. Okay, the other thing, this is quite a short video, but the other thing you might want to do is don't break the flow. If your child, and it's going to be more for the older children than the toddlers, but if your child is really involved with playing on their own, then leave them. And you might be thinking, well, duh, of course. You know what, it's actually quite difficult. Maybe it's me as a parent of only one child, but there have been times when Sops has been merrily playing on her own with her dolls, and I've wondered whether she's a bit lonely or I've just interrupted her, and she's, no, I'm okay. So, I sort of feel like Paul, or maybe I should be playing with her, something like that. But no, don't interrupt their flow. If they're involved in a story, let them just get on with it. That's fine. Don't interrupt them asking for if they want a snack or a drink, or asking what they're just doing. Just leave them to play on their own. Because you know what, you don't want, if you're in a flow doing anything, you don't want them breaking your flow, so don't do it to them.
You threw off my groove.
See how long they can do it all on their own, and then hopefully maybe at the dinner table you can talk to them. What were you playing today? Tell me the story of what was happening, and you can develop it from there. And I think that's about it, except for the very last thing, and that was the thing that I said I was going to talk to you about before. If your child is stuck to think of what to play with next, if they say they're getting, if they are stuck thinking what they're going to do next, one of the things you can do, and this is something that I would recommend for your child after tea time, after school. So they've come back from school, they've done whatever they've done there, they've had their tea time, but there might be a bit of a gap between tea time and bedtime. Well, something they can do is, something you can do is make the most of our free activity books. You can just download them from the website, theonlychildclub.net. There's a page of free activity books. Just download those past books. But you can also sign up for our email list, and you can get your free copy of our summer activity book, where your child will also have an opportunity to win this gorgeous little fellow. Isn't he sweet? So by all means, sign up for the email list, get your free copy of our summer activity book. Your child will get an opportunity to read the Lucy and Gabriel story, and they can also have an opportunity to win this fellow. So I will put a link into the competitions page in the description below, so you can do that as well. Well, I hope that you found this video really, really entertaining. Please don't forget to subscribe and like and all of those things. But the main thing is to help your child keep them entertained is download those free activity books, copy of our summer activity book. And I'll see you next week. Doodles!